So CTV wrote this article about saying because of higher gas prices, there are some in Canada considering electric vehicles. What the headline doesn't tell you is this was at an electronic vehicle show to actually get people testing and driving them. So anyone they asked at the event would all be looking at buying an electric vehicle. So it's not really fair. Now, the article did say because gas prices are so expensive, people are considering electric vehicles. However, I live in Edmonton. Gas is probably around $2 a liter, or about $6 to $7 a gallon Canadian, putting it to people who live in the States. And if the average electric vehicle on a low end is around $40,000, if you're having trouble affording gasoline at some odd cents a liter, can you really afford a $40,000 new vehicle? Now I hear you say you can get them used. Yes, you can. But how many electric vehicles are actually on the used market? Now the article said, now this article was in Nova Scotia. I live in Alberta. So the question I have is, well, what about winters? And I'm not talking Nova Scotia winters, where the coldest it gets is maybe minus 20, maybe minus 30. I'm talking about cold, brutal Alberta winters, where it's minus 40 for weeks on end. Here in Alberta, you actually have to take your charger out of your vehicle and plug it into the wall so the vehicle doesn't seize up in the coldest nights. It's like that for weeks. Now, the question I'm asking, if people actually want these things, which the market is saying maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, even in places like BC and California that are pretty environmentally friendly, have a problem selling these. If these things were selling themselves, what would the government give you an up to $5,000 rebate if the vehicle you buy is under $40,000? So I'm not anti-electric vehicles. I actually think they're great. If I was going to buy a vehicle today, I'd probably buy an electric. Not because for the environment or anything like that, but when I was working in solar in Nova Scotia, I met a couple who had an electric vehicle, and I saw what they paid in electricity per month for that vehicle. It was about $60. I don't know about you, but from an economic standpoint, I'd rather pay $60 a month for my fuel than $100 every time I fill up my tank. So the question I'm asking, who's actually buying these electric vehicles? And if we expect the news to do a story, shouldn't it actually ask the hard questions like, hey, who's actually buying them? What happens in 10 years if the battery goes? And heck, yes, I understand these things can last a long while. What happens if I just can't get to a charger? What happens then? So I just really want to know, what are your guys' take on electric vehicles? And let me know if the article in question that the CTV wrote, I'll have it linked in the description, is mostly fluff or actually a news piece. All right, guys, keep it locked.